Alright, welcome back guys. Okay, let's go over real quickly last session, session number one. We went over a welcome back from the spring break. We introduced to you the new format for the class, which will be entirely online now. We also did an introduction to unit number 4, covering chapter 10 and chapter 12. We then did, as we've mostly done for all of our chapters, we did a true-false statement overview of the chapter by looking and identifying whether a statement would be true or false, topics that will be covered in this chapter through your reading, lecture, and so on. Then, as we got into chapter 10, we looked at some of the basic motivational concepts. We started out by looking at instinct theory based on evolutionary theory. We also examined drive reduction theory, and then we left off by looking at arousal theory. And we'll pick up there today, going to the next slide, which will be focused on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Well, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you've probably heard of them before. Basically, it begins at the base of a pyramid that we'll see in a second with physiological needs that must be first satisfied. So we must have our physiological needs met before we can worry about anything else. Before people can fulfill the higher level safety needs, the physiological needs must be met first. And then from there on, we start to address certain psychological needs. As we'll see, some needs take priority over others in this particular proposal from Abraham Maslow. So let's look at it real here. Alright, so we have a pyramid listed here. And in the pyramid, you see that Maslow proposed that there is a hierarchy, sort of a ranking order of needs. And that the needs lower on the pyramid, or the base level needs, need to be met first before we can meet the ones above it, or the higher level needs can be addressed. So you don't think about asking Susie out on a date if you're dodging bullets during a shootout. But only when the bullets stop flying and you are no longer in danger, no longer concerned about your safety needs, you will start to consider asking somebody out on a date, which will meet more of your belongingness and love needs, which are higher on the pyramid. So let's look at some of these levels. At the very bottom, we have physiological needs. And the physiological needs here, the need to satisfy hunger and thirst. Above that, we have safety needs, the need to feel that the world is organized and predictable. Then above that, belongingness and love needs, the need to love and be loved, the need to avoid loneliness and separation, to belong and be accepted. Then we have esteem needs above that, the need for self-esteem, having a sense of self-worth in the self, a sense of achievement and competence, to be recognized and respected from other individuals. And then we have self-actualization needs. This is the need to live up to one's fullest potential, to be the best version of you that you can be. And then above that is the self-transcendence needs. These last two needs focus a great deal on the self by way of becoming your best self, and the self-transcendence need is the need to find meaning and identity beyond the self. So once you get to self-transcendence, you see that you have met all the needs beneath it, and you understand that there are things greater than you as an individual, higher, more important callings. So, you may be familiar with the movie The Hunger Games, where we have the heroine Katniss Everdeen listed there. She expresses the higher level need of actualization and transcendence in the process, inspiring a nation. These are going to be those types of movies in which you have one individual who's going against all the odds to achieve greatness and then inspire people, and maybe even winding up sacrificing themselves or putting themselves at great risk for something that goes beyond their self, beyond their personal needs. So that's what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is all about. You see the needs beyond the self being the self-transcendence need, the ultimate of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Then we have the drive reduction, how we want to see this works. First, we have this physiological need that exists within us, a need for food or for water. This physiological need then causes us to have a drive, something that pushes us to want to get something, and that is going to be the drive of hunger or thirst, a state of discomfort usually, because when you're really hungry or really thirsty, we don't like that feeling, and it causes this drive in us, this discomfort that we want to change. We're motivated to change it, and that needs next to the drive reducing behaviors, things that will lead us to being able to eat, things that will lead us to being able to drink water. So we are motivated to do these drive reducing behaviors. And that's the basic premise behind the whole idea of these drive reduction theories, is how it works. Now we have another key need that we possess, a major motivating thing, and that is the thing that we all want. We want to belong, an affiliation need, a central human motivation to build relationships and feel part of a group. Obviously, a long, long time ago, this is something that was a characteristic of the more successful of our ancestors. Because by getting together in a large group, in larger groups, and belonging and caring about each other, it was able to enhance their survival. And we still maintain that today. That's why we have this need for affiliation. This need does have an impact on everything that we do. It colors our thoughts and our emotions. It drives our behavior. We know that being affiliated and having a group of people that back you up, they're related to being able to have a better health and performance and better sense of self-esteem. And also combat something that we really don't like, and that's loneliness and social isolation. So, self-determination theory states that people are driven by three basic psychological needs. We have the need for competence, autonomy, and relatedness. Competence is going to be the ability to feel effective in what one does. So you feel like a competent individual. Then we have autonomy, the ability to feel independent and able to act on the world in a way that matches one's own desires. You're your own person, your own woman, or your own man. And then we have relatedness, the ability to feel connected with others and a sense of belonging. Now, one key thing that all this tends to suggest here is this. The need to belong, this affiliation need that we all possess, is a very, very powerful thing. And consequently, it can be used to punish us. So, because we have this need to relate and connect to others, the loss of connections can have a negative impact on us, a very powerful one. Therefore, being shut out or ostracism, also social exclusion, threatens the need to belong and causes us pain. We don't like it. Social media ostracism causes a similar pain. When groups of your former friends start to unfriend you on social media sites, it can cause some discomfort. You're being rejected. You're being shut out. And the pain does also cause us to be motivated. So we're motivated to go out there and seek affiliation, and then when we're being shut out, it also motivates us because we now have to deal with the pain. So the resulting pain will lead to behaviors. It motivates us. We focus on the motivates for corrective action. Can we act in a very positive or negative way in order to remedy this pain that we're experiencing? Some people may lash out. Some people may try to go find other friends, but it is a motivating factor significantly in our lives. We also see the major impact of social media today. Social media is a very powerful thing that exists, and it has a great deal of impact on us. Mobile networks and social media provide information, supportive connections among friends and family. It can serve to do this. Research shows also it can activate reward centers in our brain. We do now see, unlike in the past, online social media services, they can serve sort of as a matchmaker type of function as well, hooking up people from that may have similar personality types or similar interests but may not be in the same locale. It can predict longer life when used in moderation, again, as we've talked about in previous chapters, we can get addicted to anything, and this is one of the things that one can get addicted to. But using it in moderation seems to predict a longer lifespan. And also, these mobile networks and social media can allow us to have comparisons that can create envy and cause depression. Now we can see what people have, the lives they may be living, and can cause a sense of envy. And also, importantly, it can support narcissistic tendencies. You live in your own world, you share all these ideas and concepts about yourself, and it can be seen sort of as being a heightened version of extraordinary self-love, that you think you are extraordinarily important, as your social media activities may tend to indicate. And finally, we want to look to at what we can do to try to address these types of things, to avoid too much of this social media, and there are strategies for maintaining balance and focus. Monitor your time on these particular sites. Monitor your feelings to make sure you don't get too agitated. Hide from incessantly posting online friends when necessary. Check phone and email less often when studying, and refocus and take a nature walk. So the idea here is to be a little bit more balanced. We'll stop there for now.